The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. On a Sabbath, Jesus went to dine at the home of one of the Pharisees, and the people there were observing him carefully. He told a parable to those who had been invited, noticing how they were choosing the place of honor at the table. When you are invited by someone to a wedding banquet, do not recline at table in the place of honor. A more distinguished guest than you may have been invited by him, and the host who invited both of you may approach you and say, "Give your place to this man." And then you would proceed with embarrassment to take the lowest place. Rather, when you are invited, go and take the lowest place, so that when the host comes to you, he may say, "My friend, move up to a higher position." Then you will enjoy the esteem of your companions at the table. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, but the one who humbles himself will be exalted. Then he said to the host who invited him, "When you hold a lunch or a dinner, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or your wealthy neighbors, in case they may invite you back and you have repayment. Rather, when you hold a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, and the blind. Blessed indeed will you be because of their inability to repay you, for you will be repaid at the resurrection of the righteousness." The Gospel of the Lord.
In this gospel reading here, Jesus is he's reminding us of the joy of humility. The joy of humility. Let that sink in a little bit, because a lot of people don't associate joy with humility. They think of humiliation. They think of being lonely. They think of being stepped on and being a doormat. And that's where most people get it wrong. That is not humility. Humility is not being a doormat. Rather, it is something very different, a different way of looking at it. He presents a joy, in a sense here, but really where the nutshell of humility is, if you think of this, being a child of God. Being a child of God puts everything in the right perspective. And it puts a balance to everything. And you start to see how good it is to be humble. And so first of all, we're a child. That means we don't know everything. You know, we don't have a right to tell God what to do or how to make things and everything else. We're not the boss of God, as if we can judge God, right? So we have to humble ourselves and make ourselves, remind ourselves that we are children. We don't know everything. We don't see all things and know all things as God does, because he sees the depths of the heart and in the mind. That's why he can judge us. So we are children, right? We're children. We're little. But we're children of what? We're children of God. And that's where our dignity is. We are divine heirs. God thought so much of us that he was willing to enter into our very lives, enter into our souls, into our very bodies. God chose to live with us and be with us. So much so, he wants to renew that indwelling, that he comes to us in the Eucharist. That his body, his physical the metaphysical manifestation of his body, would want to come into our body. This is the jealousy of angels. This is what made Satan fall. That he would make himself one with us, and therefore we are his very children. What an awesome thing. That now we've got guardian angels serving us, because angels are ways far superior to us. They're way more powerful than us. But God would come down to us and to live with us, to be with us. What an awesome thing. And so, to make ourselves children of God, what do you do with children? Now, what do? You see a baby, what do you do with them? Everybody knows what you do with a baby, right? You pick them up, you cuddle them, you hold them, you maybe a little fart noises on their belly, and play with them and have fun with them. You do all that stuff with children. We play with them. That's what God the Father does with us. He holds us, He brings us up close to His heart. He cuddles with us, plays with us. He wants to have fun. Got this. He wants to have fun with you. He wants to have fun with you and just coddle you in His lap. Isn't that great, being a child? Being a child? Some of us maybe will look at our grandchildren like, if I was only that age once again, if I only had that energy, if I only was able to do it. Well, now's your golden time. You can be that child to our Heavenly Father. And now, you know what? You can do that every day of your life. Isn't that awesome? So now, because we make ourselves humble, we can be in the arms of God. See, if out of our own pride, we make ourselves big, so we're starting to demand things of God and saying, I got my rights and all this other stuff, we make ourselves too big. We make ourselves bigger than God. Therefore, He can't get His arms around us. But if we humble ourselves to make ourselves small, He can get His arms around us. Do we puff ourselves up with our pride, make us too big for even God to coddle? Are we able to make ourselves humble before Him so that we can be in His lap and rejoice that our God is there for us? Imagine this. Now, I love this thing. Think about this. By virtue of your baptism, you are a child of God. By baptism. That means at any moment in your life, you want to talk to Him, it's like He drops everything and He's just there to listen to you. All you got to do is pray. Isn't that amazing? The all-powerful, the one who created the universe and sustains everything in being, the one who is busy holding everything into existence, wants to just drop everything and just listen to you and just hear your voice. He knows what's going on in your heart, but He just wants to hear that voice. He just wants to be with you. Isn't that just an amazing thing? The love of God. All you got to do is talk to Him. That's it. Just talk to Him. And everything is in His hands. What an awesome thing. How good it is to be in the arms of God. How good it is to be humble.
Star of the ocean, portal of the sky, ever virgin mother of the Lord Most High, oh, by Gabriel's uttered long ago, Eva's name reversing, established peace below. Break the